Bạn ăn cơm chưa?
No. Bạn đi đâu đấy?
So imagine visiting Vietnam for the very first time. You walk into a Vietnamese home, and naturally, you're expecting to hear a simple, familiar hello, right? But instead, before a standard greeting is even uttered, the very first thing someone asks you is, "Have you eaten yet?" And before you can even formulate an answer to that, somebody else smiles and asks, "Where are you going?" Now, as a foreigner, this sudden barrage of questions can feel, well, incredibly confusing. Like, are they trying to invade your privacy? While the truth is, no one is actually interested in your exact schedule. In fact, they probably don't expect a detailed answer from you at all. Section 1. The Art of the Greeting, a relationship building tool. To really understand why someone would ask such seemingly personal questions just moments after meeting you, we have to look at the Vietnamese understanding of communication. You see, it's not simply about an efficient exchange of information. For generations, greetings here have been considered a profound sign of respect and goodwill. Way before discussing business, sharing news, or asking for help, people begin by truly acknowledging one another. So, questions like, "Have you eaten?" or "Where are you going?" they aren't literal interrogations. They've gradually evolved into everyday greetings. They're basically centuries-old, gentle ways of saying, "Hey, I noticed you, and I'm really glad to see you." Section 2. Language and relationships. The complexity of pronouns. Now, this relationship-centric worldview gets even more fascinating when we look at the Vietnamese language itself. Unlike English, which relies heavily on one-size-fits-all words like you or I, Vietnamese actually requires people to choose from a massive array of different pronouns. And this all depends on the other person's age, their social status, family role, and your level of familiarity with them. For example, someone older might be addressed as uncle, aunt, older brother, or older sister, even if there is absolutely zero blood relationship between you. Meanwhile, younger people are often called younger brother, younger sister, child, or grandchild, entirely depending on the context. For a lot of visitors, this is literally one of the most challenging parts of learning Vietnamese. Why? Because every single conversation essentially begins with this silent question, "Who are you in relation to me?" Once that relationship is clearly established, the appropriate words just naturally follow. This whole unique way of speaking reflects values that have shaped Vietnamese society for centuries. Heavily influenced by family-centered traditions, tight-knit village communities, and Confucian ideals, having respect for age and maintaining social harmony is absolutely essential. You can see this super clearly during family meals. From a very young age, children are taught to politely invite everyone to begin eating, saying something like, "Con mời ông bà, bố mẹ ăn cơm," which translates to, "Please, Grandpa, Grandma, Mom, and Dad, enjoy the meal." Older individuals are invited to speak first, they're served first, and they're always offered the most comfortable seat. It's all about expressing deep gratitude for the wisdom and the sacrifices of those who came before them. Section 3. Humility and Harmony. The Power of Modesty. Let's say you compliment a Vietnamese friend by telling them, "Your English is excellent." Instead of a confident Western reply like, "Thanks, I know," you are way more likely to hear some modest downplaying. Things like, "Well, not really," or "I still have a lot to learn." Now, at first glance, this kind of sounds like they're just flat out rejecting the compliment. But in reality, traditionally, openly praising yourself is seen as much less desirable than just remaining humble. Downplaying your own achievements is basically considered a way to show respect toward others, rather than soaking up the attention for yourself. And that exact same desire for harmony influences the way people express disagreement. So, in many Western cultures, saying a direct no is viewed as honest and efficient. But in Vietnam, A direct refusal can sometimes feel way too harsh, especially if you're talking to someone older, a guest, or really anyone you want to maintain a good relationship with. Instead, you'll hear softened phrases like, "Let me think about it," "That might be difficult," or "Perhaps another time." Now, these expressions aren't intended to mislead anyone. Rather, they just help soften the disappointment and preserve that essential goodwill. All of this ties right back to the concept of saving face. Basically, Vietnamese people will go to great lengths to avoid embarrassing others in public. Raising your voice, criticizing someone directly, or creating any sort of unnecessary conflict is usually avoided whenever possible. Remaining calm and allowing absolutely everyone to keep their dignity, that's considered a fundamentally crucial part of good communication. Section 4. Hospitality and gift-giving. Tokens of courtesy. If you visit a Vietnamese home, even for just a few minutes, your host is almost certainly going to invite you to have some tea, water, maybe some fruit or snacks. And refusing politely once or twice before finally accepting is totally common. It's kind of a traditional dance for both the host and the guest to express courtesy. Gift giving follows a very similar philosophy too. Whether it's the Lunar New Year or a housewarming party, the monetary value of the gift is usually way less important than the thought behind it. And interestingly enough, recipients often choose not to open gifts immediately in front of the giver. Now, rather than showing indifference, this actually reflects modesty, and it helps avoid any awkward comparisons between different gifts. Section 5. Unspoken rules and taboos. Navigating cultural etiquette. As you'll see, navigating a new culture also means understanding its boundaries. Things like pointing directly at someone with one finger, interrupting an older person while they're speaking, or resting your feet on a table, those are all generally considered pretty disrespectful. But there's one custom that constantly surprises visitors. Chopsticks should never, ever be placed standing upright in a bowl of rice. Why, you ask? Well, because that visual arrangement strongly resembles the incense offered to the deceased during ancestor worship. So as you can imagine, it carries a very unfortunate and morbid association. Definitely something to keep in mind. Section 6. The meaning of the smile beyond just joy. For foreign visitors, this gesture is fascinating because it often goes far beyond just expressing happiness. A Vietnamese person will absolutely smile when they're happy, of course, but they might also smile when they feel embarrassed. It's actually this wonderfully complex social tool. Furthermore, you might see them smile while apologizing, when they're nervous, or simply when they want to ease a really awkward situation. So a smile in Vietnam doesn't always equal joy. It can express politeness, humility, even discomfort. And sometimes, honestly, it's just the easiest and most graceful way to preserve harmony between two people. At first glance, all of these customs might just seem like a loose collection of quirky little habits. But when you put them all together, they tell the story of a society that places relationships before individuals, respect before self-expression, and harmony before confrontation. And this is exactly why communication in Vietnam feels so wonderfully different. Behind every single greeting, every careful choice of words, every humble reply, and every quiet smile, there lies a simple but truly enduring belief. It's the idea that the way we speak to one another isn't just about exchanging information. It's about showing respect, building trust, and constantly reminding each other that every relationship deserves care. And that brings us to this beautifully profound conclusion. Perhaps the next time someone in Vietnam asks you, "Have you eaten yet?" you'll understand that they're offering something much, much warmer than a simple question about your last meal. They are offering a welcome. So, considering everything we've explored in today's explainer, how might bringing a bit of this relationship-first mindset into your own life fundamentally change the way you connect with the people around you?